I'm Geoffrey in a Khwarezm campaign in Broken Crescent version 2.3.2 and very hard. I'm flying through it to get to the Mongol event. We are in the year 71 at the moment, I do believe. 72. And here one of our diplomats has gone to the Kingdom of Georgia. He's sensing a tension between the Kingdom of Georgia and the Seljuks of Iraq. A Sind agent has been detected in one of our settlements. There's a war of agents at the moment, especially with Sind, but also with the Cumans and the Seljuks of Iraq. And for that reason, we have to hire a lot of agents of our own, which is bringing the dread of our leader up. And now we have a Shisha house in Sukkot to get some agents there. We have also Thieves Guild in Sukkot. We have various traits, especially black eunuchs, and some of our characters. I think you get black eunuchs when you are inactive, which some of our governors are at the moment. We have the Kingdom of Jerusalem in position 1. We're in position 4 on the charts. There is still a plague in Birjan. It's been there for several game turns now. And we're about to besiege this city called Uch, or perhaps Uk, or Uch. Who knows? I'll call it Uch. So Shah Muhammad is laying siege with a very large army.
Yes, Sultan, your enemies shall fall swiftly.
Indeed. And Uch, I think, had a relatively small garrison, but possibly, yes, a rather small garrison. I think this is a battle I auto-resolved. And for a change, we had a decent result with auto-resolving. I think if the odds are really extreme, that the results are meaningful. But if the odds are not that extreme, then you get strange results, so I don't auto-resolve.
Cut down the infidels' defenders. They resist us no more.
So we sacked Uch. We got about 19,000 florins as a reward. There's a war now between the Kipchak Confederacy and the Kingdom of Romania. That's good for us. We'll keep the Kipchaks off our backs. And various light units mainly are being recruited to strengthen the garrisons. We have some buildings repaired in Kandahar and Uch, newly conquered territories. We have Aladdin, a new character. I think he's born around Khiva or Gurganj. So we'll come back to him later. Here, also, an agent of the Seljuks of Iraq, a spy presumably, has been caught in Nishapur and executed. Oh no, he is still at large. He wasn't executed, he escaped. We're in position 3, game turn 73. We've passed the Kingdom of Georgia. Still a plague in Birjan. It went on and on. And a battle with some of our generals against some rebels in the area of Hormuz. There are the rebels, not much to worry about. They were defeated. One of our generals gained some experience from that battle. Back to our Shah Muhammad, the horseman. He chases off some reinforcements that were heading for Multan, which is one of the settlements we want to take. Here are the enemy reinforcements. They're not really much to worry about. They were defeated out in the open. Multan is an important settlement. We can get elephants from Multan, so it's absolutely crucial we get Multan. So that was the results. Everyone got involved in battle and achieved something one way or another. So you can see Sind are sending armies to reinforce Multan. They're sending them from the north. They have some settlements there. They have to pass through the lands of the Ghaznavids. I don't know how the Ghaznavids feel about it. And on the right is our Shah Muhammad the Mawla. He is a great general. He also has a dread because of all the spies and assassins he had to hire. He has a guard dog and a tribal captain. He doesn't have much authority. He had 0 authority at one point, but he's gaining authority as he's winning battles. And so he's a night fighter. He is also, he has talent for command. He's religious, honest, mean with money. He's a great commander, a great cavalry commander, indifferent to the infidel. He's conquering everyone regardless. He's a reasonable ruler. He performs sometimes zakat. That helps decrease civil unrest because of overpopulation. He is morbidly mortal. what that means is either extremely paranoid or is simply a believer that one can never have enough safeguards against an assassin's blade. So he gets +4 to personal security. And that's because he often had spies or assassins accompanying him for that specific reason, to keep himself safe. So now he's gained a trait, so he probably won't need all those spies and assassins accompanying him everywhere. He's introverted, that's a similar trait, increases personal security. A strong attacker, a looter, obviously he keeps sacking everything. He feels respected. He mixes with killers, what we were talking about. He lacks compassion. He is a confident defender, overly suspicious, again a similar trait, having all those spies and assassins accompanying him in a campaign, and also recruiting them because we have issues elsewhere in our empire. He has political promise. He's proven his political promise. He is already the Shah. He is a cruel leader, reserved, scarred, and brave. All those are good traits. They help with his hit points and so on. So lots of good traits, just what you want from your faction leader. And so we're back in the situation in Sind. Shah Muhammad has laid siege on Multan, and the garrison of Multan sallied out on the AI turn. So what happened there, I'm not sure, but it seems they want to sally out against us. That's interesting. Let's have a look at what happened. So we have just light cavalry. That's a clever plan. So we attack them with missile units, and they sally out mostly with infantry. They also have 2 cavalry units, so it's not just infantry. This is a fairly balanced army, I would say. It's not a bad army. I'm not sure it's better than ours, which is what the odds say here. And they have a good general. All in all, it looks good. We may have a good fight here.
Life. Take it from them! Units, await my orders!
So here's our army. We have mostly, in fact, we have exclusively, I think, missile cavalry. And the enemy army, I think the bodyguard is lancers. And they have a unit of missile cavalry. These ones, I hope they're missile cavalry. No, they're also spearmen. So they don't have missile cavalry. They just have lancers. And so they are chasing after us. And of course we have tons of missile cavalry. So we are throwing javelins and shooting them with arrows. Sometimes killing our own men occasionally. So here's our missile cavalry. They are skirmishing around the enemy cavalry. The enemy cavalry is holding back. They're moving forward once again. And we are pelting them with arrows and other missiles as they're moving forward. And sometimes they slow down and hesitate. Perhaps they're waiting for the infantry to catch up. Here they managed to charge one of our skirmishing units. It's very hard to macromanage at the same time as I'm trying to record the battle. I can't do both things at once, so sometimes our enemy manages to sneak upon one of our units, and there they attacked one of our cavalry unit. Here is about to collide with one of the other cavalry units, so I can't macromanage all that effectively, but we're doing okay. Every time they end up fighting one of our units, they slow down, so the other units start shooting arrows at their backs, as they're doing now, even javelins. So we have a javelin unit, I think, there. And so we're skirmishing around the enemy units. Here we're throwing some javelins. We killed 2 of their horsemen there. And the enemy general's bodyguard here has lost quite about half its strength. Here they're down to about a dozen men. We attack them with a light cavalry unit. Yes, we have 1 light cavalry unit. We're not all missile troops. Nonetheless, we're skirmishing reasonably effectively. The enemy general's bodyguard is down to about a dozen men now. They caught up with this unit, but that's okay. We attacked the other cavalry unit, the other lancer unit, so they caught up with us. But here we've attacked their backs, wiped out that enemy general bodyguard unit. And so our general, our Shah, has, as we know, a bodyguard of horse archers, but they're also very good in the melee. So we routed one of the infantry units there. Presumably we've either captured or killed their governor. And so now the enemy is in disarray. We've captured the gate with one of our light units. Some of their cavalry is retreating here. They've been broken after the death of their general. And we are taking everyone prisoner. This one guy, I think, escaped. Possibly, or maybe we killed him. I can't remember. I think we killed him. He didn't manage to escape. He was trying to escape and get back into the fortress, but we killed him. So we routed another unit. They're retreating. They're a unit of spearmen. They're heading back into the fortress. There are some heavy archers here, very well armored. They are skirmishing. Of course, we keep annoying them with our cavalry here. We charge them with our general's bodyguard.
Our enemy flees before us like a herd of goats. Drive them from the battle. All praise to Allah. This is a most crushing victory. Your name will live in marble and our foes in sand.
That's a cool quote. Our general did obviously very well. We had some casualties, but not too many. It was a relatively easy battle. Here are the results again. And by now we have so many marble plaques scattered around the world because of our victories. We're going to run out of marble.
A crushing victory, my Sultan.
Crushing victory.
We have cut down the infidel defenders. They resist us no more.
So we sacked Multan, which is a fortress, got 9,000 florins from that. And it seems they were sending some reinforcements, but they didn't get here on time. So here's the situation near Sukkot in Sindland. There's some foreign merchants there. There is now a war between the Paramara Rajputs and Sindh. That's very convenient. And the Malikate of Sindh has broken its alliance with the Ghaznavids, probably because they kept crossing their lands to send reinforcements. The Ghaznavids got upset with them. They might have been also a vassal of the Paramara Rajputs. So here are again some new traits, new characters. Yes, Ala-ad-Din is in Khiva. He's got some good traits. Still a plague in Birjan. We're in game turn 74. So Shahzadeh Manku Banu, he is our faction heir. He feels appreciated. He's increasing loyalty. We put him in our capital, which at the moment is Zarang. And here are the traits of Ala-ad-Din. He's got a gifted Circassian Ghulam somewhere. And he's the beg of Khiva. Probably he got him in Khiva, so that's good. He has decreased loyalty, but some other positive traits. In Multan, we left this general called Uthman Gunji or Kunji as governor. And we don't have money to build anything, but we can still get elephants, so that's no big deal. Here's Uthman Kunji in Multan. We recruited some new units. In fact, it's mostly retraining of old units. A lot of retraining. Some new, very light units as garrisons. We managed to get 2 spies into Mitankot, which was the capital of Sindh at this point. And so that's very good. We can attack Mitankot. So here's again the situation in Mitankot. They have an interesting garrison. So our agents have opened the gates.
Inshallah, none of them shall escape us. To battle! Sieging the walls, mighty Sultan. I am eager to take the walls now, Sultan.
We mostly have cavalry. You may not attack straight away because we mostly have cavalry now. We need a little bit of infantry. But they may sally out, so we'll have to wait and see. Here's Khwarezm, is a settlement in the desert in Persia, and in the newest version of Broken Crescent, version 2.4, it's an independent Atabeg or Sultanate or something, Emirate. At this point here, they are just a strong rebel settlement. They are full of good units, a lot of cavalry, so we can't attack them so easily. We have to wait. There is a rebel unit in the area of Marshad and Merv.
Yallah, my sultan wishes you dead.
We cannot see what types of units they have. We need to prepare for a battle. We have to get rid of these rebels. So we may have to recruit a couple of units. Actually, I should be retraining this heavy cavalry here, these Deacon Lancers. Never mind, I may do that later. Here's the situation in Khiva. There are 2 Cuman assassins in the air. We have a spy inside so we can see them. And so this is the kind of war of agents that's going on at the moment. This is the situation in Gurid land. We have one of our generals here, and he's cautiously moving towards Ghazni that seems to have a relatively light garrison. They're very good units, but not so many. And so we are moving up with some cavalry. Maybe we can defeat them in the open if they sally out with our horse archers. So here's the unit we're bringing up, and it's headed by Melik Shah, which is the main character who's been active around here, conquering places.
An honor to serve. Noble one.
Sultan.
So he gets some of his cavalry and goes into a cavalry heavy force to try and entice the garrison of Ghazni to come out and hopefully defeat them out in the open.
Sultan.
We have a spy. He will go with Melik Shah so we can get some advance warning of what's ahead of us. Maybe he can sneak into Ghazni. Now we have a longer range. Oops, we have been intercepted. Thank God we have that spy with us. We've been intercepted, but we were not ambushed. Thanks to that spy. My goodness. Okay, so it seems the enemy has 2 very strong armies here.
Even if they do not deserve it, I will offer the...
Sibni Rawadi, infidel.
See what they have. So they have a lot of those stupid light javeliners. They have some heavier units. They have some Ghulam horse archers. That's a very nice unit. They're junior Ghulam horse archers. The other unit has some cavalry, relatively medium to light. They have some infantry, medium to light. But together they could cause us trouble. And so that's a problem there. There's another unit here, a smaller one, another small force. They have some good units hanging about. There's something I want to say at this point. I hope it will not upset anyone. I don't mean it in a bad way. Broken Crescent at the moment is in development really. It's between version 2 and version 3. So we're working on things and some things got left out, partly by accident or very often by accident. So let's have a look at these armies here. So you see, for example, they have this javelin man. We don't see the recruitment cost. The cost about, let's see this one, you can see it, varies. Okay, it's a mercenary. You see the problem? I mean, I'll show you how much this mercenary is costing. The real cost of this unit is about 200. So just the upkeep is as much as the cost of this unit if you get it from barracks. If you don't get it from barracks, if you get it from here, it costs 510. Incredible. And you remember earlier, the Ghurids had laid siege on Bukhara, and they had an army consisting of these units, and some of this Turkoman tribal cavalry, and these mercenaries we just saw, these ones. And this is not a very good army to attack a fortress. So what is going on? Now, when I need to campaign, I'm quite happy campaigning with these types of units, which I heard a lot, these tribal cavalry archers. They are enough for me. That's all I want. I can, I'm okay with that. I don't know what other players do. However, when the AI needs armies, very often it needs armies and mercenaries when you've left with your armies, you've gone somewhere else to conquer something else, and you opened up your underbelly here. You have, like you've opened up various places, like here, for
Yes,
example.
noble master.
What can this guy recruit? Okay, similar types of units. At least it's a spearmen. They're also too expensive for what they're worth. It's not very good if the only mercenaries you can get is these light javelin men or these light spearmen if he wants to lay siege on one of your settlements, because he's going to need like siege engines and stuff, so he needs some infantry, the AI, if it attacks you while you're away. And so it will need some infantry, but if it wants to recruit infantry in a hurry, it can only find this very cheap infantry. It wasn't always like this. Originally, there weren't these light javelin men here, if I remember correctly. In version 1 of Broken Crescent, there were some medium Dailami javelin men, and these were reasonably good. They were not as heavy as the ones I can recruit here. There's a unit I can recruit here. These ones. These are obviously excellent. They have a total defense of 26. There were some other ones that had they were like slightly lighter, but still decent. And you could hire them here. You could hire other heavy mercenaries elsewhere. And this is not unhistorical. For example, the Saracens very often used to attack these Christian regions around here, including the Kingdom of Jerusalem, either in an organized way, conduct organized raids, or just groups of Saracens just of their own accord would get together, 500 men or so, and go into raids, raid the countryside of Christian areas, gather loot, and then they made a living out of this. It was like piracy on land. And these are the mercenary Saracens of stainless steel, this unit. These are these sort of types. They could be on foot, of course. Usually they weren't always on horse, but they could dismount. They didn't necessarily have war horses to fight as cavalry. But they were moving around on horse, and then sometimes they could fight on foot. That's fine. And they had good armor, so these sort of people, either Arabs or Turks, whatever they were, it was their habit to do this sort of thing. And when the Turks arrived and they conquered all this area from around about Ghazni and Gore and Khwarezm down to Anatolia, Asia Minor, they didn't conquer this area by hurling insults. I mean, they were well armored, so they also knew what armor is. They had good weaponry and so on. And so these tribals hanging out in the country, they weren't always some kind of people dressed in a tunic. And not only that, but here we have a lot of kind of rebel regions, which were really like small, like atabegs. That's what they're called. It's a Turkish word. They were like divided, and they were headed by a kind of military leader, a local tribesman, and he was like an emir or an atabeg. That's what it's called. It's like a local chieftain. And he had a kind of kingdom in a way, So these kingdoms, they had dynasties, and they lasted for a few generations. They had the ways to equip their men. So not all these sort of rebel areas and so on had people dressed in tunics as warriors. So that's one thing I wanted to say. Why did this happen? Why were these units removed? It's possible they were removed as a test. That's possible. It's a little bit suspicious that other things got removed, like all the militia of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. I have a feeling they were removed because people had issues with all these rebels, and there are a lot of rebels in Broken Crescent, so they removed some of the heavy units to make the situation easier. Perhaps they excuse in historical terms, but I think, as I said, it's not unhistorical to have these heavier tribals and mercenaries available. What is going on here, in a way, I feel what is going on is a tendency for people that have difficulty with the game, so let's make it easier. Not everyone likes it easier, some people like it how it is. And so make it different difficulty levels. Right now we only have one difficulty level, so create lower difficulty levels, create a kind of easy, normal, and hard difficulty, not just very hard. And that will solve the problem that for some people is too difficult. The other approach is that approach has been taken in stainless steel, which I'm not so happy about. It's a big world. We can have something for everyone, but this is a game of total war. In any case, what happened in Stainless Steel is there was the Greycool AI, which, in my opinion, is a fantastic AI. I love playing with it, but it can get a little bit too hard because you're like fighting battles almost every game turn, especially on very hard. And so it can get, after a while, it can wear you down because, you spend so much time on a campaign. So some people who didn't like this sort of thing, they pushed for these alternative AIs like the Lasted Savage and so on. And, I have to say these AIs, now and then you see a merchant moving or something. Some diplomat turns up, or occasionally. Then nothing happens a lot of the time. Have a look at my Kingdom of Serbia campaign that I'm playing with Stainless Steel Historical Improvement Project. Nothing happens. I'm playing on very hard. I've never been attacked by everyone. This is with Savage, I think. These AIs are not great. And so what people have done then is, I think some people kind of don't like fighting battles or being at war, don't like war or something, don't like military games. And so they create the situation that can have, like, I don't know, baronies, and they can have supply scripts and think about logistics and think about the lineage of whatever, the family lineage. So you have things like the ruler of Pisa has died and a regent has taken his place. Is the dynasty coming to an end? Pisa did not have a dynasty, did not have a ruler. It was a democracy. This stuff, obviously someone put it because he likes this idea of having babies and keeping your line clean and all that. This is not a game about having babies. This is not civilized medieval 2 total architecture, supply and piety and babies game. This is a game of total war. Stay focused. This is exactly what Broken Crescent does. It focuses you on military strategies. So it's made the buildings very hard. It's not about architecture. Don't concentrate on building things that cost 6,000 or something when you have a war on your hands. And it's not about, I don't know, merchants. The merchants do something, but the AI merchants very often are very aggressive and they attack you a lot. And so you sometimes make a profit, sometimes you make a loss. It's not about merchants. It's not about diplomacy. You can make some deals. It's very hard. This is a game about military strategy. And this is why I'm calling it the Zen of Total War, because this mode focuses on military strategy. And all the other stuff is gone. It's not about building libraries, having babies, enjoying the joys of civilizations. This stuff is for Christmas. If you want this stuff, make a sub-mode. It's not even fair to make like a different AI, campaign AI. Just make a sub-mode. Do not take people away from a military strategy game. There are some players that don't like games about war. Well, this is one about war. It is not called total civilized. It's not called total architecture. It's not total royalty. This is total war. It is a game of military strategy. And Broken Crescent 2.3 to 2.4, I have to say, I'm not knocking them down. I'm in the team after all. They are interminted versions moving towards Broken Crescent 3. And we're trying things out. Sometimes we take something out from the game because we're making the map or something, and then we forget to put it back on, like the forts, things like that. So some things have gone missing, and so what I want to do at present is overhaul this, just check what was sort of dropped out accidentally, and try and put it back, and make sure everything is balanced, including the factions. For example, if you look at Egypt here, they're only left with Yemen at the moment, and there's a balancing issue with Egypt. I know what it is. I want to try and solve it. So it's not much to solve. This is what I had to say. We're also missing horse archers from barracks. Not only don't we have heavy units out in the country as tribals and mercenaries, we cannot get horse archers from barracks. So this is a citadel, and if you see, it's not possible to get horse archers. We just get lancers here. And this is the same throughout in this version. This is not the same in version 2.4. This has been addressed. And one of the issues about this is the following. Like if you see here, this is the battle I was fighting before. This is the siege I've just laid here. And if you, so this is our king, and we're laying siege on this settlement. And what we have here is just some infantry. So there are some spearmen. They're decent. They're not bad, but just infantry. Now, in the latest version 2.4, we actually have slave barracks, and they are not just for trade. You can actually get golems from those, so it's likely you're going to have at least some horse archers in some of these settlements, if nothing else. So we need a little bit of this variety, because otherwise we get with a settlement that just has infantry only. That's not so good. And there are other ways to address this, so I'm working on these balancing issues at the moment. Hopefully something will get done in the next couple of months. We have a slightly improved version that will bring back some of these missing things and will address some of these balancing issues. Anyway, this is the game turn now, the AI turn, and the AI sallies out. So Sin sallies out of Mittencourt and attacks us out in the open. And the AI has mostly infantry, and we have mostly cavalry. That's another unbalancing issue. So I don't know why the AI attacks just with infantry.
We shall not leave any of the infidels alive! To battle!
So here we are, we have plenty of cavalry. As you see, we are all horse archers this time, and we're all skirmishing cavalry, also some javelin men. And the AI is coming out with just infantry. And so this battle is like a foregone conclusion. Attacking with just infantry, an army of mounted archers, skirmishers, is not a very good idea. And they sallied out to do this. Suicidal. Look what they have. They have a lot of spearmen. It's useless. I mean, this is something that's good about Buffenshire, because she's created barracks that will give you all kinds of units, so the armies are more balanced. That is one good thing I have to say about Buffenshire. We need some balance. However, in version 2.4, the one that Byzantine Boy headed, there are also Golem barracks. And they give you some variety. They give you some horse archers and so on. And so you don't just end up with just a one-dimensional infantry garrison. But having a little bit more variety is useful. And having cavalry, the AI must have more cavalry. It just focuses too much on infantry. The AI infantry is sallying out. We are skirmishing around the AI infantry. I don't know if we lost anybody. I think we lost one horseman somehow, maybe from friendly fire. So we're running loops around the AI army. Our skirmishers are skirmishing all around. It's just a helpless situation for the AI, and they moved away from their settlement as they're chasing our cavalry, and so we sent this cavalry unit. It's probably a javelin unit that's thrown all their javelins, I would think. And we're heading for their town plaza, so we're going to take their settlement while they're busy chasing around our cavalry with their spears. So indeed, it's one of our javelin units. They've entered Mittencourt and they're heading for the town plaza.
My lord, the battle appears to be running in our favor. From good tidings such as these, does victory spring forth.
I don't know if the enemy infantry, the garrison, got word of what's going on. They seem to be heading back. It's a little too late. No, some of them are heading back, some of them are not. Some of them keep fighting.
Enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Our enemy has lost half their men. Oh, that unit has been routed, that's why it's heading back. So we can cut them down. There's another unit that's also routed. We can cut those down as well. Probably got word that their town has been taken, that we have units in the town plaza, and so they've routed so they can get there quick.
Victory is well within our grasp. In time our foe will surely see this and lose heart.
There are some summit spearmen there. These are medium spearmen. They are reasonably good, and so we don't want to get involved with them. We're just shooting them with arrows, just keeping them busy so they don't head back into the town plaza. We're cutting down those units that were routed. And it could be that if you hadn't attacked with cavalry, those routed units might get back in time. But now they have no hope. So continue pelting these units with arrows. Our cavalry has left a trail of death behind. The skirmishing goes on. And if you do this properly, you shouldn't have any casualties. But now and then you get some friendly casualty. There are some archers that get hit by arrows from another group of archers. So we probably lost a few men. I don't think anybody got caught in melee, but sometimes it can happen. Some units get terribly spread out and you end up stumbling into one of their spearmen. Back in the town plaza. So we've won the battle.
All praise to Allah. This is a most crushing victory. Your name will live in marble and our foes in sand.
Okay, now the marble plaque here. The Punjab mercenary horsemen did well. I think they're javelin men, so they got some experience. Everyone did well. I shouldn't knock anyone down. Everyone accomplished something. We lost 26 men, most of them from friendly fire.
The fate of all infidels who face me. I swore they would regret resisting us, Sultan, and they do.
Of course they do. With Sack Mittencourt we get 7,000 florins from the loot. We offered a Hashishim guild in Zarang, which is our capital at the moment. But that's great. We don't get this very often. This is very rare, so might as well get it. We don't have anything like taverns and stuff, and shisha bars and so on in Zarang, but we can build one. We have the first Dailami unit in Merv, the first and only, I think, so far. And there's been an upgrade on the wall of Zarang. It's got now a stone wall. I mean, around here in this part of the world, everything was made out of stone. There was no wood. It's a bit of a thing. Okay, so Cyrus Bayaki has gotten a lot of traits. Here's Merv, here's Cyrus Bayaki here. He's doing well as a governor. Our queues are stalled, we're in position 3. Kingdom of Jerusalem is topping the charts. Here's the Hashishim's Guild that I talked about. Very nice to have it. And we're in position 3, as I said. We're making 67,000 per turn, but that includes money from loot. Here's the situation in Kiva. Once again, Cuban assassins about. We've trained 2 agents, including an assassins, and the assassin war continues. So this is going to be a slightly dreadful campaign at the moment, or it's going to take a dreadful turn. There's been a war between assassins around Quetta and Bella with the Sind assassins. There's been a war around Merv thereabouts with enemy spies from the Seljuks of Iraq, and around here with Cuman assassins and Cuman spies. Oh, the Cumans are sending another force in our direction.
Once you are my prisoner.
Okay. They're near our watchtower, so you can see their units. Interesting. Oh, here's Aladdin we're talking about earlier. And so he's now the governor of Khiva. He's gonna get some dread with all those assassins he's training, but what can you do, dreadful Aladdin?
An honor to serve.
Back in Gordland.
Yes.
We'll see what we can do here. We have to abort probably attack on Ghazni at the moment with all those units laying in ambush. Very tricky. I'm glad we had our spy there. So we're gonna send some spies to have a look at what's the situation in Firuzku, which is a citadel. That's very nice. Ali Shah is another interesting general. He's been quite active around Balkh. He's been the governor of Balkh, and he's laying siege on Firuzku.
Yes, Sultan. Your enemies shall fall swiftly.
Yes,
The
yes,
infidels'
yes.
walls will not save them, Sultan.
Absolutely no
I
way.
will make them kneel before you, Sultan.
Orders.
Good, my good general.
Sultan.
Very good. And so we have to reinforce his army, so we'll send some cavalry in his direction.
I am eager to take the walls now, Sultan.
He's got some Sogdian heavy axemen, excellent. So we've got various units on force to lower their upkeep, they get free upkeep,
We move, Sultan.
to save us money. So let's spread the cavalry about in the two forts.
Orders. We move,
And
Sultan.
moving up closer to the Gurids, bringing justice to them.
Sultan. Jalal.
Okay, put any heavy units we can not afford into forts.
Noble one.
Okay, here's another small army hanging about. It is a garrison, I think, of Firuzku. Very interesting. We'll get some more horse archers. Horse archers are the key. Light horse archers. Back around Merv, there's that
Jalal. My Sultan wishes you
unit
dead.
there, that rebel army.
Yes, noble
And we
master.
can prepare for an attack on those rebels. We can get some light horse archers here, might as well get them. You see, the rebels just have that light spear infantry, because that's the only thing they can get around here. This is the sort of issue. I don't like this. And they don't put enough value on light horse archers. These things can be changed. Okay, we'll take some of those things off the building queue because we need money, because we have also a campaign in our hands around here. You remember, we have a campaign to take command. It's about time. We have the strength, we can do it. Problem is, Yas now has a low public order because a lot of those units have been taken out to campaign on command. So we have to retrain some light crappy units. It's javelin men. They're worth nothing, and the only value of them is to lower public order, nothing else.
How may I serve, Sultan? As you will.
And so we put also those units that were in the fort, we joined them with that general, and now he has a strong force, but the garrison of Kerman is very strong, so we need more men. That's not enough. So we'll bring more men from Bam.
How may I serve?
And so we've
Jalal.
got some units there. From that fort, we'll put units from Zarang into that fort that will
Orders.
lower
How may I
the
serve,
cost of
Sultan?
unit
We
upkeep.
move, Sultan.
We can now attack, but only with this unit. We cannot attack with the other unit. And so we'll have to wait until the other army on the left can also
Orders.
reach Kerman.
Sultan.
And we also have some infantry with them, and they cannot reach Khwarezm. So we'll continue in the next episode. That was the end of episode 7. Thank you for watching.